another one. This is F-150 Raptor 2018, 19, and 2020 4x4 Super Crew. This has the 145, 140 wheelbase, and this is a 3.5 liter V6 Echo Boost electric power speed automatic with tow package. The exterior has a Raptor seats, Raptor round side, Raptor ceiling, Raptor mountain, and also Raptor, and it's premium, all premium services for the dually pickup and also the dually pickup that's on I-90 frontage road. It also, Bill McCurley has the assessments. Also Columbia Drive, which is Kia Motors, called Overturf Motors, Ford company. It is still Ford company. The change of identity means the inquiry on the Ford manifest for all the Colorado Chevy trucks. This is the Ford Raptor, and the Colorado crew cab, full crew cab, which is the full vehicle description. That's a V8. This one's a V6 versus the Chevy Avalanche versus the Chevy Colorado. And this is off the factory floor. The factory floor has assessments for the standards of Bill McCurley, the new remodel Bill McCurley, and also the build remodel. Anyways, the increments on the red line has a $35 million deposit $35 deposit for the Quality Inn, also the Red Lion called the Double Tree, which is on 20th, Singles Award, and also the font on Gage Boulevard for the headstones they're putting on plotted for their marriage certificates, and also their inquiry of manifest for fully increments of all classes for each quarter for their full dorms that are paid all in full for their parent, and also the paralegals and the processing information that were disbarred and kicked out of the dorms and dragged out in the society of a sequence where they have to be deprived and moved into a different job description at WorkSource. So the standard equipment on the factory for the John Deere equipment, the standard factory for the Ford equipment factory, and also the standard for Boeing, Northrop, and the military status. They're pulled out of each individual and moved over to the other side of the building. And their Ford company and paperwork and documentation for their root system is right next door. They just put a different uniform on and changed descriptions, the same owner. So this vehicle description F-150 Raptor 2018, this has 20,000 on the increments for the manifest for department licensing. It has 65,375, and then another 70,000 payoff for the APR on the licensing for the first name, last name, Barela, B-A-R-E-L-A, and that's the administration office and the Ford company right on downtown Columbia Center, Gage Boulevard, and also Columbia Park, and that's Bill McCurley, and that's Conger Lam Weston and Hapo. Giza got turned in, so Hapo got team turned in, and they turned into the limited processing for the factory they built in India. The factory you have in India is hiring only white people, only white minorities born in the United States of America. For that reason, the launch your campaign and ballot funds with Kim Wayman. When you're in the military staff is at leave and you're flying into a no-fly zone in India, they will shoot you down. So they have the U.S. citizenships on your driver's license and your swipe card, your credit card system deposit inquiry. The Ford Raptor F-150 2018 4x4, the most powerful equipment, the V6 they got. For fact, any V8, V10, and high performance, and the mud strips for by-4 with 35s, 55 swampers, any submissions, and that would be in Beer Falls on Columbia Center Boulevard, or actually Clearwater. There's Beer Falls. Anything in Beer Falls you can, and has bulletproof tires, bulletproof windows, bulletproof air systems, and it could be submerged in submission into the water systems. So you can chase any sheriff, state patrolman, or police officer and flee of justice all the way into the federal court system, McKinney Building, and execute him in front of the public system when he's finally hiding in his different uniforms that he has. And Mr. Mike McBeal dropped me off at Garfield in front of Jason Trigger's house in Fruitland Park. I washed up Willie's, and all the sheriff police officers would be chased off and killed on sight, just like Mr. Soderman in downtown's Pasco at 205 Secondary Apartments. Roberta Barela, Lola Hernandez, and also Fabian Barela and Lil Fabian Barela, and also Rhonda Kaiser and Jay Mueller, and Frank Ugmusso and Amy Miller be waiting. Open casket and set classic. So the assessments on the Kentucky Fried Chicken in Fresno, California, Kentucky Fried Chicken at $3.95, and Kentucky Fried Chicken here in Moses Lake, Washington has been updated. Verizon's been pulled out and replaced with alcohol, firearms, and permanent ordinances issuing out alcohol and tobacco. A log is around $50. Anything underneath the log is $29.72. Military discount and also reservation discount, which you have. As you can see, the document says you're on the Indian, you're employed from India, and your U.S. citizenship. It says the military discount and also the employee discount includes the $65,370 knocked off because of the factory of Moline, Illinois, and the Microsoft program, Mr. Bill Gates, and that's 1855 73rd Avenue, Medina, 98039 zip code. And that's Felix Barela coming to you live at the Equipment and Clearing Factory at Ford Company, and also the Colorado. And compared to the Chevy Avalanche, has a OnStar button on the right console on the top above your head. It's A07058 EPA fuel economy value on the expenditure on for the fuel company. That's the 5-star limit, and also the rollover limit and side crash limit, frontal crash, and there can be a SKU, a PCR scan code on the right, and the first and last one for the first initial consultation fee for coming for the department license for your first name, last name on the license plate. It's BARELAFELIX F-150 Raptor, and this V6 can compete anything in the V8. The torque, the switches are on. You can come in and the McCurley's come in over to the Kia Motors and come in the Kia Motors, and for your any Ford equipment, you come into the garage, and any state patrol and any state patrolman at age limits from 1972 and on have the equivalency tests and ASVAB tests, and also the Harvard, University, Stanford tests, and also the cross-country trains, and also the welding program underneath the Green Bridge, the Cable Bridge, the Blue Bridge, and also the 1919 discovery where they killed Geronimo, Sitting Bull, and Mr. Benavides, and Clearwater, which is connected 3 and South and 5, where they stabbed them. Repeatedly, villagers processed and killed Mr. Tillman in Arizona State. It's not his village. So services, all kinds of shift services in the world here in the United States of America, don't it? Being you as a citizen, come and train up Mr. and Mrs. Oklahoma Unabomber, Mr. Unabomber Tillman is, as you can see, a coward as well. Now, the frontage crash on the drive passenger is not rated yet. So we're going to go about 140 miles an hour in Clearwater and go straight into Andy Miller's office, about 160 miles an hour through the fence line with bulletproof tires, rifle windows, and Andy Miller's going to be buckled up, and we're going to put it on YouTube, Facebook. And of course, that's Senator Patty Murray and Cantwell in the back seat, along with the full automatic issue and ordinance RC Otis Brushwood, and also Brushwood Beretta, full automatic Berettas in the 900 round clip with the ordinances on their strap on their shoulders. So they're going to go for a test drive for Washington Farmer Collision Department here in Clearwater. Miss Pat Murray and Cantwell have German blood in them. The canines, as you can see, they sit there and cower under an individual sitting in the bottom of the back seat with Patty Murray and Cantwell at all times. And this means that they have been hit by individuals that are training, so they're going through a growing spurt this time, and they have little lethal injection ordinances. And in the city limits, if you shoot, kill any of the canines in the city limits, is a death warrant and raised to a preliminary RCW. Any state, and any China, Afghanistan, Pakistan, any of the residencies was lethal injection. So they're going to push on that memo on the amendment, and it's 16 miles per gallon, and it's $4,500 to spend 5 years. So if you do a full for a cost for 5 years, and you're sitting on the oil company and sitting on the oil lines that are moving into your system and it's on your land, all you have to do is shut the valve to turn the switch to left or right, and it shuts down the whole government. It shuts everything down. And then there's a tab that says Felix Barela. You see that says F-150 Raptor on it. It says vehicle description. And then it says the no change order for the optional equipment. It says no change, no change, no change back. You get no change back, but you get all the maintenance and all the ordinance of applying your liability, financial ability of recovering from your frontage crash, and also your overall vehicle score on your frontal crash scores, on your side crash scores, and your rollover scores. So if you roll over and land on increments on of smashing into the fence lines, you're fully covered. Plus, every passenger is covered $1 billion for liability. If he doesn't or she doesn't have a driver's license on and they have insurance, they're covered for $1 billion a piece for any damages done to them, and faceless damages or anything after that, someone maniacally pulling or molesting them or taking advantage of them during when they're sedated on the table. The lawsuit will continue. The damage on the uterus, the fallopian tubes, the mental anguish, the popularity of all the training of the elite forces, the anguish on mental vitality of how they compromise on the building factories and in the fields, and also on the systems that the surface as they come onto the facial frontage crash, and also overall scores, and also the side crashes, and also the rollover crashes. The strenuous stress that's been prolonged to the individuals in the house, outside the mansion, inside the mansion, inside the mansion, inside the gym, on the flat bench, on the curl bar, anywhere around the area of upstairs or on the roof or in flight, or anything would be a cruelty of the cruise control, which is an anti-functional four-wheel drive disc brake. Which you apply with your toe and your front of your index finger of your left or right, and the right and the left of the swing of the 4x4 Swift brake. As you insert your boot into this equivalence of the plush seat, and if there's any stomach valve movement, you can continue to do this lawsuit.